Over the past few weeks, I played around 50 Blitz games and luckily managed to climb to rank 33. So today I'm going to do more of a commentary style video, explaining my thought process and decisions as I play. Of course I make plenty of mistakes too, but I feel like Assassination Rogue is being heavily underrated right now. So hopefully this video gets more Assassination Rogue interested in playing Blitz. I think this game's MMR was around 2300 or so. This battleground is actually not a bad comp for us at all, mainly because we have a Preservation Evoker. In the current meta, Preservation Evokers isn't just strong because of the healing, their survivability and mobility are insanely good too, which makes them pretty much the undisputed S tier flag carrier right now. That doesn't mean the team with Preservation Evoker automatically wins or anything, it just means you can usually play a bit more comfortably. Anyway, if you look here, their flag carrier, the Rescue Druid, got caught by our team, while our own flag carrier already made it safely into the enemy base. So I figured my job here was less about defending our flag carrier, but more about delaying or killing the enemy flag carrier. I'm trying to delay him as long as possible. The flag carrier was using cooldown pretty aggressively, so my plan was to wait until he ran out of buttons and then finish him off. Now the druid is out of cooldowns, but I still have my Death Mark and King's Bane, which I'll be using soon. The enemy team comes in time and rescues the flag carrier. Unfortunately, our flag carrier didn't make it, he falls down, and I got too far away from the druid. But our team is still on pursuit, so instead of chasing the druid, I'm going to mark the enemy healer. Druid won't go far without this healer. Our rogue and DH is on the druid, and this priest has no way of helping him. You can see that our evoker drops the flag intentionally to reset the debuff stacks, because he knows there is no way of making it back to the base with these stacks. However, enemy DH picks up the flag again, so evoker had to pick it up too, knowing that he won't make it. Even though this push failed, the stack count was already so high that we still managed to force out a lot of enemy cooldowns out. There's no way the druid survives the next attack. Our flag carrier managed to pick up the flag properly, but their flag carrier was stuck dealing with me, so someone else had no choice but to grab it instead. That's actually a huge advantage for our team. Either you ninja the flag during the handoff, or you deny the transfer completely and kill the alternative flag carrier before they can pass it over. The druid is now free from me, but there's really not much he can do at this point since our flag is already gone from the base. Since the Demon Hunter already picked up the flag, the druid is in a really awkward spot right now. And with the current stack count, there is almost no chance our flag carrier dies easily here. So instead of defending, I'm going straight on the offensive. Recovering the flag from a Demon Hunter isn't that difficult. This time the enemy had a head start since their druid was already at the flag position, while our evoker still had to fly all the way across the map. So our Mr. TN picks up the flag up and hands it off to the evoker to save as much time as possible. I just saw the druid burn 2 major cooldowns, so once that bar skin expires, I'm going to try to kill him with a Death Mark, King's Bane, Sheath, and Envenom combo. However, we couldn't cap it, which is totally understandable, since our flag carrier was probably being chased down by the enemy team as well. Still, the druid not being able to pick the flag back up and the flag remaining at our base is still a massively favorable situation for us. Anyway, since the druid saw their flag getting brought back to our base, he was probably getting really desperate to pick up the flag fast. So my job here was simple. Make sure this druid gets hard marked and never gets a clean pickup. So in the end, their red POW had no choice to pick up the flag instead. But while I was going after him, I realized it would probably be better to just keep marking the druid instead. The red POW was going to get pressured by our team anyway. This round is Silvershard Mines and I believe it was around 2400 MMR. Normally as an Assassination rogue I would usually be the one going off cart, but our Mistweaver monk said he wanted to handle off cart himself, so I ended up going lava instead. When your teammates make a strong confident call like that, I think just committing to it usually gives you a better chance to win. Besides, one advantage Assassination Rogue has over Sub Rogue is that while it's still very strong on off-cart duty, its cleave pressure is also pretty solid. So unlike Sub Rogue, Assassination Rogue doesn't really fall behind in main teamfights either. Anyway, since one of our healer is going off-cart, we will probably have a pretty good chance of winning over there. But on lava, we are going to be fighting their 2 healers with only 1 healer of our own, so realistically, we are probably favored to lose this fight. Let's see how it plays out. As expected, we started losing the raw team fight on lava. But that's perfectly okay, as long as we are guaranteed to win the 2 off carts. What we need to do here isn't necessarily win the lava cart. It's keep the enemy team locked here for as long as possible so they can't rotate and reinforce the off carts. If you look at the minimap, you can see our off-cart team backed up by our healer, completely securing the mid-cart and already rotating to take control before the top cart goes in. Unfortunately, it seems that they couldn't make it in time, so the first round goes to Alliance, securing 2 carts, lava and top, while Horde capping only the mid-cart. Since our strategy is to stall on lava and win through the off-carts, there's no point just handing over lava for free over and over, especially since it has the shortest cart route anyway. So instead, I decided to rotate the track and drag the game out longer. Right now, we have 4 people on the lava cart while the enemy only has 3. So what we need to do here is use that numbers advantage to delete one target as quickly as possible. That's why I focused on the mage. He's squishy and he had already burned the ice block earlier, so I just bursted him down immediately. After that, what we needed to do was keep picking off the enemies who were regrouping one by one instead of coming in together. In situations like this, it's usually better to target healers or enemies you already know have burned their defense cooldowns during the earlier fights. Here, I'm targeting Hunter because I know that he is out of cooldowns. We managed to hold the lava cart safely, and now our job here is to kill this isolated healer before the enemy team can regroup with him. If we can do that, we delay and disrupt their regroup timing all over again. If you look at the minimap here, we already secured the top card and our team is now rotating to take mid. So even if we are getting absolutely smashed on lava, our role is still to keep these guys tied up here for as long as possible so they can't rotate and help at mid. And in the end, our team actually does manage to secure the mid card. You can actually see the half of their team got stuck on the way to mid card because our team got there first and they rotated too late. So again, since the enemy kept winning the fight on lava card, I switched the track one more time to delay their score gain as much as possible. After that, I kept watching the track to make sure it wouldn't get switched back, while still joining the cart fight whenever I could. Even if we couldn't actually win the fight, my role this game was basically to slow them down as much as possible and keep dragging them into messy fights. We were controlling the off cards, but because we got completely wiped on lava, the enemy was able to send reinforcements into mid card and steal it near the end. The good thing though is that we still had solid control over the top card. And just so nobody gets confused, the minimap was bugged here. Minimap looks like Alliance is owning both mid and top card, but in reality, Horde still capped the top card. When I got back to the lava card, it was a really close situation where control kept flipping back and forth in the final moment. The enemy had to run all the way from the mid card, while for us, the respawn point was basically right next to lava, so we were getting back much faster. That's how we managed to retake the card at the very end and secure the points. At this point, we only needed one more card to win the game, so we committed all of our teamfight pressure into lava. But this time, unlike before, we actually didn't want the lava card track to get redirected upward, because the longer route would create unnecessary variables and give the enemy more time to come back. So while fighting over the card, we also had to keep watching the track and make sure we stayed on the shorter route. For the rest of the fight, all we had to do was keep fighting inside the cart, chain CC whenever the enemy used cooldowns, and keep applying constant cleave pressure. Since the cart control was steadily shifting toward Horde, the game was basically over, as long as the enemy didn't get reinforcements or our team didn't suddenly wipe.